Greetings to everyone! My name is Nadia and you're on my channel called Betty Neddy. Today is the Sims 2 20th birthday, but as you can see, I'm attending a funeral. One's base play style is dead to me, and I'd like to tell you why. This video will most likely spark controversy in the comments. That's because I'm going to point out the most and the least noticeable downsides of one of the most popular playing strategies for The Sims 2. The easiest way to see that one's base play style is crazy popular is to search for a Sims 2 Let's Play on YouTube. Just tap at the very first episode and you'll hear this phrase.
I play once beast.
I don't think I need to explain what this playing style is about. The name is self-explanatory and I bet most of you have tried to use it in your game, or most likely you're still using it. I've personally first discovered it on Pleasant Sims YouTube channel. The number of subs there was 2 times bigger than it is now, and I think it explains why so many The Sims 2 players got to know the playing style in question and began to use it in their games and YouTube content. By the way, I'm sure there were other creators who preached one's base play style, but judging from what I currently see on YouTube, it mostly came from Pleasant Sims, because new creators are still using her set of rules. So when I first saw one's base play style in action, so to speak, I was fascinated. It was so different from what I had been doing with my Sims before. You know, maxing out all their skills, making them reach the top of their careers. The Sims in Cindy's Let's Play seemed to be so alive and unique, I couldn't stop watching her Pleasant You series and admire. But one day I realized the Let's Play was abandoned. Cindy had made an announcement where she'd said she wouldn't continue the series because it had become her least popular content. So I decided to find another Pleasant You Let's Play which I could enjoy watching. I even found a ton of such Let's Plays, but to my biggest disappointment they all were just copies of Pleasant Sims Let's Play. And even to this day, Simmers are still sharing their clones of each other's Let's Plays on YouTube and other platforms. Maybe they make these copies unintentionally. But on the other hand, what outcomes do they expect to see in their neighborhoods if they all are using the same playing style and are following the same set of rules? Clearly the outcomes will be very similar, if not identical. And when I saw those clone Let's Plays, I understood that one's base playing style and rules which normally accompany it were not nearly as brilliant as they had seemed to me. They'd promised to make the characters more unique, they'd promised to make the game less predictable, create more drama in neighborhoods, but they unfortunately can only do the opposite. And this gets very noticeable in longer Let's Plays and older neighborhoods. Now I'm going to discuss why I got disappointed in one's base play style. I will mostly refer to Pleasant You and its characters as examples, because I'd mostly watched Pleasant You Let's Plays, I know the characters and what is typically done with them. I also know a couple of Strange Town and Veronaville cliches, but I'm not an expert in these neighborhoods. So the first and the most obvious downside of one's base playing style are the ones themselves. In spite of the fact that the Prima Guide for The Sims 2 claims that our Sims wants depend on at least 6 different factors, we all know that aspiration is the most important one, and it leaves almost 0 chances for other factors to influence anything. There is a way to train your Sims wants by ignoring a certain type of wants and at the same time paying more attention to other types of wants. For example, if we regularly ignore Pascal Curious's wants about getting skill points, he'll soon become obsessed with his alien baby. But the key point of the wants-based playstyle is to do everything that your sim wants. And this is exactly how Dina Caliente, who was originally imagined as a gold digger by the developers, turns into Mary Sue Pleasant number 2, and Mary Sue is described as a workaholic. Dina, as a fortune aspiration sim, inevitably wants to get a job as soon as she fulfills the one about marrying a rich sim, which was preset by the developers. You get Dina into the law career, for example, and now she wants about skill points and promotions. At the end of her life, she is most likely retired at a very high level in her career, and she isn't any different from Mary Sue. Her entire personality and the gold digger archetype were completely erased only because you were doing what she wanted to. Same can be said about Dustin Broke with his story of a young criminal, and Dirk Dreamer with his story of an overachieving boy coming from a poor family. They simply become Mary Sue number 4 and number 5. Mary Sue number 3 is Jennifer Burb, of course. Simply put, all sims with the same aspiration will behave the same way thanks to the fact that you always fulfill their identical wants. The second biggest downside of the wants-based playstyle is the ACR mod. Do not get me wrong here, the mod is absolutely brilliant and my biggest respect goes to its creators. What I don't like, however, is when simmers do not tune it down for their let's plays and streams. I mean, you can do anything you want in your own game, but when it's the 5th let's play in a row where Don Lothario has more than 5 children. Untuned ACR is a source of multiple problems, actually. Number 1. It's responsible for overpopulation. And it's not just overpopulation, it's almost always combined with inbreeding. More on that later. 2. It does create drama, which we all love and want, but isn't it boring when all the drama in every household is about cheating and surprise babies? 3. ACR works in a very specific way which has a tendency to create the same couples of sims. Let me elaborate on this one. The ACR mod functionality almost fully depends on chemistry. The higher the chemistry between sims, the more likely the mod will push them to flirt with each other. Chemistry in its turn depends on 4 factors: aspiration, zodiac sign, personality points, and turn-ons, turn-offs. The turn-ons and turn-offs of the sims that live in base game hoods are always randomized when the neighborhood loads, but aspiration, zodiac signs, and personality points are always the same. Now I ask you to think carefully and answer the following question. How many let's plays or neighborhood overviews where John Burb cheated on Jennifer with Brandy you've seen? I've personally seen such an outcome at least 4 times. And it's not surprising because John and Brandy have the same family aspiration, which adds 35 to their attraction score and makes it a 2-bolt chemistry instantly. They are both Aries, so they get 0 for the zodiac sign, but they have very similar personalities, which adds around 20 attraction points. And John and Brandy have this 55 attraction score by default in every game. Add the fact that they both usually get secondary romance aspiration with the massive attraction perk, and you'll get this baby-obsessed couple of cheaters, a perfect example of the ACR victims. And this chemistry-related thing applies to any sim. I bet you've seen Cassandra Goth cheat on her husband Don Lothario with Darren Dreamer. That's because her chemistry with Darren is a lot higher than it is with Don, so naturally untuned ACR will push her to cheat, ignoring the fact that she is a family sim. But I need to say this mostly happens when Cassandra's relationship with Darren is on the same level as it is with Don. That's because ACR's got another bad habit. It tends to support the relationships that already exist in the game. It pays attention to relationship scores and romantic flags. For example, Dirk Dreamer's attraction score with his preset girlfriend Lilith Pleasant is nearly the same as it is with Melody Tinker from Blue Water Village. But ACR, of course, will push Dirk to flirt with Lilith, even if Dirk has already met Melody. This is because Dirk and Lilith have the crush and go in steady flags. As a result, you get the same outcomes. Dirk is stuck with Lilith, Angela's stuck with Dustin, although their chemistry is pretty weak, and these couples' children are of course related, and they are also related to Lucy's children. This is how you get inbreeding in your neighborhoods. This preservative feature of the ACR mod ruins generational gameplay completely. This is especially noticeable in smaller neighborhoods. Veronaville is a perfect example of this. Sooner or later, Romeo Monty and Juliet Cap will have an ACR baby together. Puck's Summer Dream and Juliet's sister Hermia will have children too, and Puck's sister Bottom won't save the world regardless of who she marries, Hal Cap or Benedict Monty. The children of all the three couples will all either be cousins or second cousins. So these two ACR habits, the first one to create the same couples of Sims as soon as their relationship score gets high enough, and the second one to support already existing relationships, are the reason why so many Simmers prefer Uberhood Let's Plays these days. Everyone is sick of inbreeding and the same couples. When you merge all the neighborhoods together, you at least have a chance to get Cassandra Goth with Weekend Curious or Antonio Monti. The third downside of the wants-based playstyle is the way primary aspirations are chosen. We already know that aspirations shape our Sims' wants, so this choice is super important. However, wants-based adepts, and not only them, tend to assign aspirations based on zodiac signs, the way Maxis did it with townies. I've got a few questions to this system. Number 1. Why are the zodiac signs associated with these specific aspirations? For example, why is Scorpio fortune aspiration? I'm a Scorpio, and not only this looks nothing like my personality, but I also don't feel aspired to fortune. I'm either pleasure or popularity. The second question is why fortune and knowledge aspirations can be assigned to 3 zodiac signs, while popularity, romance and family only have 2 zodiac signs per each. Why fortune and knowledge? Wouldn't the game be more fun if Gemini, for example, were romance and Pisces were family? The third question is already addressed to the players. We all know that zodiac signs depend on personality points distribution, so don't you find it strange that knowledge aspiration is only for shy Sims, romance for playful, and popularity for outgoing ones? Not only this simplistic approach makes the Sims that are already too similar thanks to their aspiration-based identical wants even more similar because they get the same animations, but also, what about base game hoods premates? A lot of them have this personality zodiac sign mismatch, and also their aspirations have nothing to do with their zodiac signs. For example, Pollination Technician 9 from Strange Town should be a Capricorn according to his personality, which means he should have fortune aspiration. But he is somehow a Pisces, which again makes him a knowledge aspiration sim. And we all know that his actual aspiration is family. I think it was done this way on purpose, to make the playable characters more unique compared to their townie counterparts. And the final question about zodiac-based aspiration assigning system. Have you noticed that some zodiac signs are a lot more common among the newborns? In Pleasant View, for example, they are Libra, Gemini, and Sagittarius. That's because personality points are somewhat inheritable, and most Sims in Pleasant View are sloppy, playful, and active. As a result, most Sims in future generations will be new Don Lotharios, Mary Sue Pleasants, and Mortimer Goth. How fascinating! And believe me, secondary aspirations are assigned even in a more questionable way, if assigned at all. According to Pleasant Sims rules, which this person tried to make me follow, secondary aspirations should be calculated based on interest points. Why these particular interests are linked to these particular aspirations? No idea. Additionally, it doesn't help that Sims interests change as time flies by if you have the free time expansion pack. Thanks to the fact that food and entertainment interests are linked to pleasure aspiration, a lot of Sims become secondary pleasure because most of them occasionally cook and all of them watch TV. There are other calculators, of course, some based on personality points, some based on both personality and interest ones, but quite many Simmers prefer not to mix up with secondary aspirations at all. And this happened to Cindy's Let's Play at some point. First, she gave her Sims their secondary aspirations, and one of the characters, Bobby Broke, mostly known as the unborn baby Broke, who was originally Romance, got secondary knowledge aspiration. I was so happy when he got it because before that he'd been just a poorer version of Don. Thanks to the secondary aspirations, they finally became different. Bobby began to roll once about skill points, he even wanted to turn into a werewolf. But all this clearly unwelcome diversity turned out to be one of the reasons why Cindy took secondary aspirations away pretty soon. Bobby returned to his default Don Lothario number 6 state, and his chaotic and dramatic once about woohoo with a bunch of Sims returned. I was really upset. Finally, the least noticeable downside of the wants-based playstyle is that Simmers who use it do not really care about hobbies. And it might seem like something insignificant, but literally Maxis developed the whole expansion pack to add this new dimension to our Sims. And you're installing mods to get rid of hobby wants? I guess you really wanted that Natasha Una outfit in your game. Now let's sum all the downsides of the wants-based playstyle up. Here is what it does to your game. 1. Your characters, your Sims, the core of the game become flat and predictable. Maxis gave us a lot of instruments to make our Sims multidimensional. They have aspirations, secondary aspirations, hobbies, interests, personality points, and wants-based playstyle reduces it all to aspirations only, making you play the same Sim with different faces 10 times every rotation. 2. Your Sims families are always more or less the same. Your Sim is either with this Sim or with that Sim, and because you've already seen them end up with both of them at least 5 times, you know exactly what their children will look like. Literally all the possible combinations of their genes. And you also know if they're going to cheat and who with. If you are into family gameplay, it removes all fun and excitement. All thanks to the untuned ACR. 3. Playing in a neighborhood for a long time becomes either impossible because of the inbreeding, or it becomes a burden, because, as I've already said in point 1, you have to play a bunch of identical Sims, and all the pre-mades who were at least somewhat interesting thanks to their original lore and zodiac sign personality aspiration mismatch had already passed away. And you know what's the saddest part? This video will most likely never get popular, especially with the content creators who share their clone Let's Plays and their loyal subscribers. I know that for sure because my Absurd Pleasant You videos are the most disliked content on my channel. To me, being a content creator is about being creative. Make the content more various without copying anyone. And to be honest, Pleasant You Sims Let's Play and its clones did do one positive thing. They made me use my imagination and my creativity to start my own Pleasant You Let's Play, where Dina remains an unemployed gold digger, where neither Mary Sue nor Daniel got the Pleasant's house after their divorce. Nina isn't sleeping around, but she's looking for her ultimate soulmate. Cassandra never married anyone after Don had left her at the altar. She adopted a couple of children and is currently raising them on her own. And Brandy Broke ended up with Gordon Keane. I've just started the second round, so there hadn't been a lot of unique outcomes yet, but believe me, when I share the neighborhood overview a couple of years later, there will be. And speaking of being creative with your Sims channel, check out Grez's Sims channel, for example. She is very good at picking topics that have never been discussed before. The link will be in the description box. I've noticed that a lot of the Sims 2 and the Sims 3 players are hating on the Sims 4 because it lacks lore. But can you tell me exactly what's the difference between not having any lore in the game to begin with and destroying all the lore by using a weird play style that ditches 80% of your Sims' personalities and worshipping an overcomplicated set of rules? Anyway, that's all for today's video. Write in the comments if you agree with my takes or not. Also share your experiences about watching different Simmers play once-based or playing once-based yourself. I could also make a video about the way I play The Sims 2, about my rules, if I can call them such. So write a comment if you'd like me to share my playing style. Thank you all very much for watching. See you next time.